My F38, fiancé, M40, went to a strip club after I told him I have a problem with them. Too long did not read. My fiancé broke my trust by going to a strip club after he implied he wouldn't. 2 weeks ago, my fiancé and I were laying in bed about to get intimate when I glanced over and he was looking at thirst traps on his phone. I was completely turned off and told him I found it disrespectful to look at porn with me laying next to him, especially since we were about to have sex. He apologized profusely. When we spoke about the incident with our couples therapist, I opened up about my struggles with porn and related things. I was raised very conservatively. While I understand it's not realistic to ask him not to ever look at porn, I had previously asked him to have the respect not to do it in front of me. I also suggested multiple times that we discuss our boundaries with porn, strippers, etc. And he replied, "I don't think we need to. We're on the same page. This weekend is his bachelor party in Vegas." We didn't talk about specifics, but I trusted him, per our previous conversations, to know where my head was. If I'm being honest, had he asked me ahead of time or mentioned he wanted to go to a strip club with his buddies, I would have been open to discussing. He's been calling in a few times a day to check in. I told him that wasn't necessary, but he insisted. Late last night, I was temporarily locked out of our apartment building while walking our dogs. I tried using the intercom buzzer, which calls his phone, but it went straight to voicemail. Once I finally got inside, I texted him that I was sorry to bug him, but it was me and I made it in okay. He immediately read the message and didn't reply, which is unlike him. I asked him whether everything was okay and he again left me on read. This is unlike him, so I grew a bit concerned. We share our locations and I wanted to make sure his phone wasn't stolen or he was in a hospital or something. He has checked my location several times before as well. He was at a strip club. I will admit that it didn't feel great, but I was going to let it go until he got home so it wouldn't ruin his bachelor weekend. He called about 5 minutes later to make sure I was okay. He could tell from my voice I wasn't okay. I asked him where he was. He initially said, a club, and finally admitted to it being a strip club. He promised he wasn't doing anything bad. I explained how I found out and mentioned that I wish we had talked about it beforehand. I wasn't mad. I didn't yell, I was just disappointed and deflated in the moment. Once he sensed this, he immediately got defensive and said we were both at fault. He said it was too coincidental and I must have been stalking him all weekend. He accused me of making up the story of getting locked out. I don't want to debate whether strip clubs are okay. I recognize I am very conservative in this area. Again, I would have been open to talking with him had he brought it up. The other factor is that one of his friends on the trip is a strip club regular and is constantly bragging about how many strippers he pays to sleep with. I feel like my fiancé broke my trust and now I'm afraid about what else he did. Once he started making ridiculous accusations, I did start yelling expletives and hung up on him. He turned off his phone and I haven't heard from him since. What's the best path forward here? I haven't been able to sleep all night and I feel sick to my stomach. Our wedding is in 2 weeks. Sounds like he is a big liar. If he's the bachelor, it's his weekend, they're there to celebrate him. Do you think he's just sitting quietly in the corner of the strip club while everyone else has a good time? This man is playing you for a fool. Like he really thinks you're so dumb to buy this bullshit? The fucking nerve of him. That's the part that makes me more furious. Like, okay, you behaved like a trash bag, but then to lie about it so blatantly and expect it to be believed? Oh hell no. And that red flag of all red flags. We don't need to talk about it because we are on the same page, meaning, I'm making a decision and that's the page we are all on, that's not a partner. I'm a male, and I don't understand how people, men and women, thinks it's alright to go to strippers, just before getting married. You are about to embark on a lifelong journey with someone you supposedly love. But think it's alright to go to a strip club. What do you hope to get out of it? It is, at the very least, very disrespectful to your significant other. Just my opinion. He turned the situation around to try and make you the one in the wrong. Is this regular behavior? Him getting mad at you when he's in the wrong? In reading your post, it sounds like he purposely avoided any talk about strip clubs by saying you guys were on the same page, but not clarifying that you were also in the same book. He knew how his bachelor party was going to go. Man, you guys are getting married in 2 weeks and don't have clear boundaries in place and still give each other the silent treatment after yelling expletives to each other over the phone? Why do people stay in such toxic relationships and continue to progress them even further? Has your couple's therapist even mentioned that maybe you guys are not ready for marriage if this is how you treat each other? My F34 boyfriend, M40, slept over at his ex's. My F34 boyfriend, M40, and I have been dating for a year, and we started dating a couple of months after he broke up with his last girlfriend. It's going overall well, and we do really get along well and have, in general, pretty good communication. He used to be in a long-distance relationship and have been talking about going to pick up some stuff from his ex's place since the beginning, as well as get back the keys to his flat and giving hers back to her. He also talked about wanting closure since they ended things over the phone. I am currently going through a very stressful period with a huge evaluation at work coming up in a couple of weeks. When he mentioned the subject 2 days before he planned to go get his stuff, I told him that of course I have no issue with it, but I would rather not know all the details outside of the general plan, where they are meeting, when and how it went, since I am fully stressed out. The plan was to meet for a meal, pick up his stuff and go home in the evening. I am currently away for work. He called me the day after, didn't mention it at first. Then on the second call said he ended up staying over, slept in the guest room and it was all friendly. He just got there late because of traffic and didn't want to travel the whole way back in the night. 2H30 Malene. He said he didn't feel like he needed permission and I should trust him. I don't know how I feel about it. I have been cheated on before. I do not know if I'm overreacting or if it's legitimate for me to feel upset. I have told him I will call him later since I do not have the energy or the time to think right now since my whole career is hanging on me staying focused for the upcoming days. I am worried that I am being too sensitive, which I tend to be when I am stressed out. TLDR. My boyfriend slept over at his ex. He thinks I'm overreacting and told me we know each other enough to just know he didn't cheat. I am feeling upset that we didn't discuss it and I found out afterwards. Am I overreacting? Bullshit. That's what I think of his story. He slept with her again, don't be naive. Yeah, he slept with her and he'll do it again. I'd be pissed. He didn't need to stay there. I'm guessing he got his closure with his pants around his ankles. Don't let him tell you how you should feel about his shitty decision. I think if he was an honest man, he would have called you that night. He's 40, not stupid. They 100% slept together. No doubt. Dump his ass and tell him to get back with his ex. Stand up for yourself, you know deep down he did it. My 25 male, ex, 26 female, keeps confronting me with her new partners and it makes me uncomfortable. Hey, I, 25 male, had a short relationship with a woman, 26 female, I met through mutual friends. It went good for a while and we started getting more emotionally intimate. I would often console her on bad days. She struggles with her mental health and I also did a lot in the past and still do a bit. And though it started as a non-committed relationship, I got attached through this emotional bonding. I noticed her getting colder with me and kind of avoiding me. I asked her what's wrong and she would assure me that it was due to some stuff unrelated to us. About 2 months ago she sat me down and broke up with me. Her reasoning was me being too gentle with her. She told me that I did not do anything wrong or bad. Still I was hurt and confused, but I respect how she feels. She suggested us continuing to hang out just as friends. She specified we could hang out like before but without me touching her, which I did not want because I knew I would not be able to get over her this way even though I still like her. After I declined and explained my reasoning, she got angry and accused me of just using her for sex, which is not true at all. We still ended things more or less amicably and I have no ill will towards her. I avoided her for a few weeks and attempted to get over it, but suddenly she started showing up with new guys to different events we attended and making a point out of introducing them to me. This makes me feel really uncomfortable because I still have not fully healed from the whole ordeal. Until now I did not want to confront her about it because we are not dating any longer and it is none of my business who she spends her time with, but I just can't understand why she won't just leave me alone since she was the one to break it off. Any advice on how I should deal with the situation? Should I confront her? I think you should just ghost her, dude. There is literally no benefit I see in having this person in your life. The next time she introduces you to a new guy, just smile, shake his hand and say, "You must be the new flavor of the week." Guaranteed that she'll stop doing that. She sounds like an immature narcissist who is obsessed with drama. Go no contact. Sounds like she wants to be in with the bad boys. Best thing to do is make it so she doesn't want to do that anymore. Act like you don't care at all. Gray rock method. Once she realizes it's not going to get the reaction she wants, she'll move on. Last night a friend 30M tried to kiss me 31F and kissed my neck. Do I tell my husband? Last night I was out with my best friend and two lads we've been friends with for years, but one of them we hadn't seen for a very long time and we were catching up. We went back to one of our friends' houses to listen to music and have a drink. Spoke to my husband first and he was totally cool with it as we've been friends ages AMD 3 out of 4 of us were in relationships anyway. The night was going well and we were all having a laugh and lots of banter flying round. I'm autistic so naff at social situations, but I'm now wondering if some of the banter was flirting. Towards the end of the night I went putside to wait for an Uber. The friend we hadn't seen in a long time tried to kiss me and I reminded him I was married. He said nobody would ever have to find out and tried to kiss me again. I moved my face away and he kissed my neck, so I moved away and reiterated I'm married and nothing can happen between us, and I got in my taxi and came home. Husband was asleep and has been at work today, but I feel like this is something I need to tell him, as if I hide it and he finds out later down the line it's going to seem worse. What do I do here? Is telling him needless conflict or the right thing to do? Tell your husband and completely cut off that friend. Spoiler, not a real friend. He was clearly trying to get in your pants. Yes, hiding even a one-sided intimate attempt at a moment will only come off as you protecting the friend and your friendship over your marriage. It happening to you, not a betrayal. Hiding it, keeping secrets with the friend from your husband will almost always be viewed as betrayal. Tell your husband then. Stop meeting up with this friend. Lying will kill your marriage more than the kiss. Yes, if you don't, he won't trust you.